EliteConversations.com. EliteConversations.com. EliteConversations.com.
Hello, this is Darrell Spears with EliteConversations.com, and we are back for another episode of Elite Conversations Unplugged. We thank you for joining us another week. We always appreciate your support. And today we have Miss Avalaura. You know we have a star in the house if she only goes by one name. That's what everybody knows her by. But she is an awesome person that provides great information and knowledge on health and wellness. She is also the founder of Avalaura's Healing Center. So we're going to talk a lot about, again, being a business owner and what we can do to get past those times of stress, those seasons of stress and difficulties in our lives, and how we can turn it off sometimes so we can refill our lives to make ourselves better, not only for ourselves, but for our families and those that we love. So thank you, Avalaura, for coming through.
Thank you for having me.
We appreciate it. I want to share a little bit of information about Avalaura as the founder of Avalaura's Health Center, where she used a holistic approach to help women deal with challenges and life issues that stop them from living fully, completely, and authentically. She takes her clients from breakdowns to breakthroughs. I like that. From breakdowns to breakthroughs by guiding them through a powerful healing process that helps them discover who they are, who they wish to be, and how to get there. She is an avid foodie who loves to pray, meditate, laugh, travel, spend time with friends and family, and sit at the feet of her teachers and mentors. It's your time for a breakthrough. It's your time to break through fears and make greater impact, and it all begins within you. Avalaura is a licensed graduate social worker who holds a bachelor's degree in sociology, psychology, and a master's degree in social work from Howard University in Washington, D.C. Additionally, she is a trained Reiki master, teacher, certified life coach, and spiritual counselor. I'm sorry. I'm not even going to try to pronounce this other word, and yoga instructor. What is that?
I'm like, which word?
Aromatherapist? Aromatherapist. Oh, that's what it is. Okay, aromatherapist. I don't know if I've ever seen that word spelled out. And we're going to talk a little bit about aromatherapist because I think that's interesting. I like that. So we are so happy to have Ava here. She has her books with us, and we just want to have her share a little bit about health and wellness because, again, I think that's so important for us as business owners. We get so caught up in the rut in the day-to-day, and I think it's important to stop and reassess ourselves. I know I don't do it. I'm talking like I'm a pro at it, but
you
it's
know
something
you need it.
I know I need it. I know I need it.
Start.
So talk a little bit about yourself, your business, how you got started, what's your passion, and all that good stuff.
Sure. First of all, thank you so much for having me and introducing me. And like you said, I do have a master's degree in social work, and I mentioned that specifically because from a child, I always knew that I wanted to do counseling.
Oh, wow.
When I was yay high, I was always advising people. I'm the oldest child, so I always thought I knew everything. I was the natural leader. And but what was funny about that is when I would give people advice, they would actually listen to it. Why they would listen to a child, I don't know, but they did. And so I always knew that I wanted to go into counseling and help people. And so that was my track. So I went to Howard, I majored in psychology, I got my master's in social work, and when I did that, I thought I had arrived.
Wow.
You know, I did everything that everybody told me I was supposed to do, and when I finally got into the workforce, I was a program director at an outpatient mental health clinic.
Okay.
And I was so excited because I went in there, I was young, I thought I was gonna change the world.
Right.
You know, I was gonna heal everybody,
Yeah.
I was gonna change the world, I had all these big plans, and I got in there and realized I was up against the system. And I realized that I wasn't making the impact that I really wanted to make. And instead of helping people to really heal and to grow and to transform their lives, I was simply helping people to maintain their dysfunction.
Wow.
And that wasn't good for me. That's not what I had worked so hard for. And that I knew that there was more to life than that. And there was so much more that I wanted to do for people, but within that system and that framework, I couldn't do it.
Wow.
And so I found myself really every day dying inside. You know, at this job where I'm supposed to be making a difference, I had plans, but I could never do what I really wanted to do. And I finally got to the point where I was just sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Yeah.
You know, when that's when most of my clients come to me, they just sick and like, Avalaura, I throw my hands up, I don't know what to do anymore, I can't do this.
Wow.
And that's where I was. And so what happened, what I did was I ended up going on this retreat. I went on this women retreat and I went back to soulful self-care, as I call it. Meditated, doing yoga, spending time in nature, and just, you know, spending time with like minds, just, you know, away from the TV, away from what's going on in the world, and just talking and connecting. And what happened was I literally had like an emotional meltdown.
Wow.
I you know, ended up on my hands and knees doing the ugly, ugly cry, crying out to God and saying, you know what, I throw my hands up. I don't know what to do anymore. Like, this is not the life that I'm supposed to be living, but I don't know what to do. So God help me, because if I go back to that office, y'all gonna see me on the news, and it's not gonna be pretty.
Wow.
You know, I'm gonna be one of those people going postal. It's like, so I'm gonna be a patient in my outpatient mental health clinic. That's not good. So, you know, I prayed, and I broke down, and after that, you know, I felt better. You know, I felt better until I realized, like, oh, I got to go back to work on Monday.
Wow.
We got to do this all over again.
Yep.
And so when I got to work on Monday morning, my boss calls me into his office and he fired me. And needless to say, I was shocked.
Right.
Had never been fired from anything in my life. I was the classic overachiever, perfectionist. So everything that I did it to the T, more than 100%. So I was shocked that, you know, he had the audacity to fire me. I'm like, me? You know? But what happened was, you know, that was all ego. I realized that was all ego. And spirit kicked in and said, Avalaura, why are you upset? You know, why are you complaining? This is what you asked for. This is what you prayed for.
Right.
Now, what are you going to do about it? And so that became my mission. What am I going to do now? And, you know, I had a decision to make. Am I going to, you know, take the blue pill and go back into social work and get another job and do this whole cycle all over again? Or am I going to take the red pill and walk out on faith and decide to do my own thing? And I decided to take the red pill.
Awesome.
I took a 6-month healing sabbatical. I really did. And that was my journey. Who am I? Why am I here? I did the work. Everything that I tell my clients to do, I don't tell anybody to do anything that I would not or have not done. Who am I? Why am I here? Got the coaches, got the counseling, did all of that work. And that when that 6 months was over, I opened up Avalaura's Healing Center. And that was a little over 11 years ago.
Wow, that's awesome. 11 years ago.
Yes.
All that work you've done, some great things in the community. And you mentioned something when you first started in terms of listening. And, you know, we get individuals on the show, we're always talking about, you know, what to do when you hit that wall, or what to do when you crash. But listening to you, you have a program in place so that we can understand how to listen to our bodies, how to understand where we are in life before we crash.
Yes.
Talk a little bit about that. What should we be listening for? What are some of those signals that tell us, hey, you're starting to head down that slippery slope?
Yeah.
How should we approach that?
That's a great question, because what happens is, like I said, a lot of times my clients come to me when they are like me, when they are at that point, sick and tired of being sick and tired, and they have crashed. I would like to get to people before the crash, before they're waking up every day crying, miserable, feeling stuck, you know, feeling like they don't know what to do with their lives, feeling like they're missing something, like there's a hole in their soul. I want to get to people before that point. And so I liken it to, you know, what Oprah called Halden when she talks about, you know, the whisper, the pebble, and the brick. You know, first we get that whisper. Something ain't right, something's wrong.
Right, exactly.
Listen to that whisper. And then we get the little, the brick, you know, the pebble thrown at us. Like, hey, come on, get it. And then the brick comes when you don't listen to those two. And a lot of times we are so caught up in our day-to-day, the drama of what's going on in our own personal lives and what's going on in the world, we don't listen until that brick hits.
Wow.
And so in terms of, you know, how do you listen to yourself before that happens? You know, one of the main tools that I absolutely love is meditation, where I talk about just breathe and just be. You know, the power of stillness and silence. Eckhart Tolle even wrote a book about that, you know, just the power of silence. And you have to think about it. We live in this world that is noisy.
All day, every day.
It is noisy.
24/7.
I mean, from sun up to sundown, there's constantly something trying to get our attention. Social media, phone, children, husband, wife, co-workers, boss, traffic. DC, you know, we got some terrible traffic here, right? There's always something. And so most of us, we don't just take that beat, that just moment to just breathe and just be. And so we're so out of harmony with ourselves. And a lot of times what happens is we don't realize it until there's sickness, until there's loss of a job, until there's loss of a loved one. For a lot of my clients, a breakup. I've recognized that a lot of the women that come to me is after a breakup, because that's when they realize they are totally out of balance.
Wow.
Because that heartache, there's something about that heartache that starts to put things into perspective. When you're at your, you know, your rock bottom, and that's when they realize, you know what, there were problems all along, but I never paid attention. I never addressed it. But now I have to. I'm in so much pain that now I have to do something.
Wow, and that's key. And it's not just relationships, like you said, jobs, and it's just so many things that come down, finances and all kind of things that happen, you know, because you're not listening. Is there, because that takes practice of really knowing your body and stopping and listening. Is there a good time frame, you know, in the course of your life? Would you say every month or every 2 months? When should you just schedule breaks,
Darrell,
in your
how about
every
right
week?
now? Right now. When's a good time?
So,
now.
But after I do it right now, when should I do it? Should this be a daily,
So
just
here's the
fine?
thing.
How do you set that up in your home, maybe?
Yeah, you know, a lot of times, so here's the thing, right? So if we're talking about meditation, and there's a lot of tools that I teach, but meditation is one of those tools, whether you're coming to me for life coaching, whether you're coming for Reiki, you know, whether you're coming for counseling, whether you just coming like, Avalaura, I don't know why I'm coming, I just need to come. Whatever you're coming to me for, I know that everybody's gonna benefit from meditation. So there's a lot of different tools, specific tools, depending on what's going on with my client, but meditation is one of those universal things. And what's so beautiful about it is that it doesn't have to be a certain time. You know, you will absolutely hear that the morning and the evening are the best times to do it, but anytime where you feel yourself, like I have a client now who was a single mother, she is completely stressed out. She has a very minimal support system, so she always has her kids. And so it's very rare that she has a break just for her. So she literally has to like sneak away and go in the bathroom or go in the car and just to take a breath. And so whenever, you know, I tell her, whenever you feel yourself hitting that wall or whenever you feel your emotions spiraling out of control, that's the time. That's the time. And so, you know, it is good to have a schedule, but realistically, not everybody can do that. And so when you're at work and you're at your desk, you can sit and take 5 minutes and breathe. You know, you can go in your car for lunch and just sit and breathe if you don't have an office, if you're in a cubicle. So there are just times where, you know, you can set an alarm. There's apps now where you can set an alarm and just say, hey, breathe, you know, just set it up for yourself. But if you can't do that, just whenever you feel yourself, just, you know when you're not thinking clearly. You know when you start to be on 10 or you start to be on your last nerve. Like, how do you get to your last nerve, right? You can feel yourself escalating to that point. So before that happens, you know, you can just take a beat, just take a moment, breathe, and just be.
That's awesome. So what is it like to come to the Healing Center? What can individuals expect when they come through that threshold?
Well, first, let me just say, because a lot of people say, Avalaura, I'm not in the DC area. I literally have clients worldwide.
Oh, wow.
So,
Awesome.
you know, if you can't come to me, I will bring the experience virtually to you.
Okay.
You know, a lot of my clients, so that's one of the first things I get, like, would I benefit from working with you, you know, if it's over the phone or via Skype? Absolutely. Because it's really about the information. Now, if you are so blessed to be in the DC area, you absolutely can come into my office. And, you know, one of the things that I wanted to make sure that I provided was a really peaceful, nurturing, serene environment, because most of us don't have that.
Nope.
We don't. And so, you know, my office, there are trees everywhere. It literally is, it's very wooded. As when people walk into my office, people don't want to leave.
Wow.
That's a problem.
That is a problem.
They don't want to leave. But I intentionally, we made sure we did feng shui and color therapy, and we used crystals and everything to make sure that the energy was just in harmony and in balance. And so when people came, even the experience of just sitting there was relaxing, was rejuvenating, was helping them to be clear and be focused. So even if we don't say anything, the environment does have to work for me.
Right.
So that's important.
That is important. Now, is there a situation where they do need to talk and just get it out? They haven't
Oh,
had a chance?
absolutely.
Okay, so
Absolutely.
that can be a part of
Absolutely. You know, no,
Instead of
most of
holding
my
it.
clients, I mean, we come for a specific
specific
purpose. So
purpose. Okay, I gotcha.
we're not just sitting
Okay.
there. But my point is that
Right.
even if they do, they'll get something out of that. But no, we get to work. My clients know that when they work with me, it's business. We have a set goal, we have a plan, and we are working that plan. And it's really customized for my client, whatever it is that they say they want. And I say they want because sometimes they realize that they want something different than what they initially intended. They come to me for one thing and then realize, you know what? There's something really more going on here. And, you know, I came to you for that heartache, but really what I'm dealing with are those things that happened to me when I was 5 years old and I never got over, or those people that I never forgave, or never forgiving myself, or, you know, the trauma and of just not living in purpose, of doing what everybody else told me to do and not doing what I wanted to do for myself, and not even realizing I was doing that because I didn't even know what I wanted to do.
Right. Wow, that's awesome. And see, a lot of cases too, they can come and tell you, but you got a lot of people sitting back at home that don't even know what you're going through. So how do you prepare them to, because that process has to take place where you go back and share with people you deal with every day, you know, how do you work out that process?
See, here's the beauty of it, and this is one thing that I teach my clients. You teach and train people how to treat you. And the way that you teach and train people how to treat you is by how you treat yourself.
That's powerful.
So when you start to treat you better, when you start to show up as I am worthy, I am powerful, I deserve to be loved, I deserve to be cared for, I have a voice, listen to me, other people will then treat you that way. But if you shrink and you don't speak up for yourself and you don't know what you want and you're not clear and you're not focused, then other people will treat you that way. And so that's what happens. The way you show up in life is the way people will show up for you. And so when you start to learn who you are and what's important to you and what you really need to grow and to thrive and to be your best person, you will start to command. You don't have to demand it. You'll command that respect. You will command that attention. You will command that, you know what, I don't know what it is about this woman over here, but I'm going to do this for her.
Right.
And that's what happens. And so a lot of times, you know, what my clients start to recognize is they just show up differently and people notice. And sometimes people say, you know, you look different. Did you lose weight? No. Did you get your hair done? No. But internally they have changed. And that then changes everything else in their life.
And that's powerful. That changes everything in your business.
Yes,
when you're talking about entrepreneurs and business owners, that permeates in everything that you do.
Yes, it
you know,
does.
and people want to buy from individuals they can trust and they know that they're confident in what they're doing.
That's right.
That plays a huge role.
I talk a lot about confidence. I actually have a 6-week course about confidence. And, you know, I work with men and women, but I recognize that confidence is something that really more women struggle with.
Okay.
I mean, because men could be like the least qualified, I mean, as we see now, if Donald Trump can be president, I mean, I'm like, I could be president. You know, I never thought about that in my life, that I could be president. But now I know that I can, because I'm more qualified than the president.
Wow.
But so you will have a man who has no skills, no expertise, command and ask for things that they really are not qualified to receive, and you will have a woman who is overqualified and feels like she needs more.
And I think a lot of that comes in the upbringing of, you know, men and women as well, in terms of, you know, for me, I didn't have an option of being weak, you know, especially coming up in a single family home and like, hey, you got to be the man of the house, you got to take care of things, and you just fall into that. And even, you know, in the neighborhood and the guys, you can't, you can't be weak.
Which is
so
part of a problem too, even for men, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because when I work with a lot of men, then what happens is that stunts their ability to communicate and be emotional. And so they have a very difficult time sort of letting down that wall. And so even for men, a lot of times they don't know who they are either, because they've had to play this role of being that strong, tough person. And now, you know, if something happens, like they lose a job, they don't know who they are. You know, that happened to my father. You know, when he retired, he was kind of forced out in retirement, and he did not know what to do with himself. And this is one of the most talented, most skilled, most intelligent people I know, and he didn't know what to do.
I can believe it. I can believe that. Yeah. In terms
So
of
it definitely
and being transparent.
Yes.
And, you know, I thank God for my church and being able to be around men, because I didn't know what that looked like growing up, you know, but understanding and seeing men that can open up and dream. And I have great accountability partners that I call, and it just makes a world of difference.
But see, you knew to do that.
Yeah,
and that's what's so important. That getting,
not always. Eventually.
That getting help.
Yeah.
That's key, because so many people don't think that. A lot of times, you know, particularly if you're that strong one, and most of my clients are, because they're leaders. So they're very type A, you know, very strong, very, I'm gonna do everything myself. And entrepreneurs, that's how we roll. I'm gonna do everything myself, right? And so what happens is, when you have to ask help, it almost seems like it's a weakness, when really it's a strength to be able to say, you know what, this is what I'm good at, this is what I want to do, this is what I'm going to focus on, and I'm going to delegate everything else.
Right.
But most of us, I can't get help, I can't do that, I got to do it myself. And who can do it like me? You know, nobody can do it as good as me. Somebody better figure it out, otherwise you're going to break down.
Sooner or later.
You're going to break down trying to do it all yourself.
Absolutely. I thank God for showing me that. So Cher, you had these two great books here.
Yes.
You are an author as well. You're a great speaker. You speak all over the world. So talk about your books and talk about some of the things that you've done throughout the world in terms of speaking.
Yeah, so these are two of my books, Power and Bliss. And Power was my first book, and really it came about because a lot of what I was seeing with my clients is kind of when we're in the midst of the storm. And I say we because I've been in the midst of the storm too. I just told you a little bit about my story, and that's just one time. There's many times throughout life where, you know, you are in the midst of a storm. And so what do you do? How do you get out of that, right? How do you bring yourself up from rock bottom? And so Power is all about reclaiming your power and embracing things like gratitude. And these are really more workbooks in that it's giving you step-by-step things, exercises that you can do. And so Power is about how you get out of that storm. And then Bliss is all about, okay, once you're out of that storm, now how do you live a life of passion, purpose, and pleasure, right?
Wow.
How do you live the life that you've always wanted to live, but you just didn't know how?
That's awesome. Wow, that's awesome. Now you got some stuff in there that men can do too, right?
Everybody. I love working with
Absolutely.
men. I mean, men are actually some of my best clients, because what I realized about men, women come to me easier, one, because I'm a woman, but two, women are just naturally more, I'm going to get help. But what I recognize with men, and I love working with men, because once they figure out they need help, and once they find you, they don't leave. They're like, I like you, I'm sticking with you.
Right.
Where women will come and go, oh, the children, oh, life, oh, this. But men, they will work it. Once they make that decision, they will stick with you.
Awesome.
So I love working with men.
That is awesome. So how can individuals reach you? How can they come into the the center to learn more about your opportunities, about the services you provide? Do you have any events or anything coming up? What's going on in your life?
There's always so much. So they can go to my virtual center. They can go to Avalaura.com and sign up for my mailing list. That's key. So then that way they will always get updated about events, where I'm speaking, because there's a ton of stuff. I mean, this summer is just going to be off the chain. I can't even remember everything that I'm doing. That's why I have a calendar. So get on my mailing list. Also, I'm very active.
It's a great mailing list. I got to hand it to you. You've put out some good stuff.
Thank
so
you.
I get it all. It's been on the mailing list for a while, and I appreciate it.
Thank you for saying that, because I worked hard on that.
Yep,
so I'm glad to hear
job.
that. But I'm Googleicious, so you can find me all online. You can find me on Twitter. You can find me on Facebook, LinkedIn. So definitely.
And all you have to type in is Avalaura, huh?
All you got to AVAL, bam, and I pop up. You don't even have to type
You don't have to
Avalaura.
type-
There's only one. That's the beauty. Thank you, Mom. That's the beauty of having a unique name. So yeah, so Avalaura, and you'll find me everywhere. So connect with me on social media. I do respond to messages. I'm very approachable. So yeah, so if you connect with me on social media, you get on my mailing list, you will always know what I'm doing and what's going on. And what I would love to gift our viewers with is you can contact me at Avalaura@Avalaura.com, and anybody who does that, just put in the header Elite Conversations, and then I will gift them with a 20-minute consultation with me.
Oh, that's awesome. Awesome. Elite Conversations, 20-minute consultation. And we just got a consultation right here, so you can imagine what it's like one-on-one. So definitely take advantage of that. So I truly appreciate you for stopping by and being with us this week. You have provided some awesome information. Look to have you back soon, and keep me posted on your events so I can get them out to our followers.
I will absolutely
and this
do
has
that.
been wonderful. This has been Avalaura. Thank you for being a part of Elite Conversations Unplugged. Again, we thank you so much for your support. Again, go to our website, EliteConversations.com, to learn more about our services. Also, to see replays of the shows that we've provided in the past. Again, my name is Darrell Spears, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. Have a great evening.